do, and I don't normally move it off your mat, is we are going to walk around our area. So if you've only got a small area, it doesn't matter. But one of the things they say with your root chakra, it's how you ground your feet to the floor. So if you're a walker, and I know if David's on there, I know David and Lisa like their walking. Georgia, she likes her walking as well. So think about, we're going to walk around the room, and I want you to think only about your feet and how your foot comes in contact with the floor. So as your heel touches the floor, and as your ball of your feet and your toes, and as they move away, and as you put them, so as you swap from foot to foot, you should just focus on your feet. And this is a really good way of trying to open your root chakra. It's also something that we just don't do at all. So just walk around the room and try not to bump into whoever you're doing your yoga with, if you've got anybody with you. And you just literally, as you put your heel down, be aware of your heel going down, and then the edge of the side of your foot, where the little toe side is, then the ball of the foot, and then as you lift the back toes, you can feel the toes are still on the floor. So you're just going to walk around slowly and mindfully, listening to my voice, thinking about your feet in contact with the floor. And this is a really good way of being mindful as well. So you can walk across your mat, circle around the room, do a figure 8. Just be mindful of your feet. Just keep walking around. Be aware that as you turn a corner, you might put more weight onto the side of the foot. As you turn, you might twist the foot out. And just be aware. And even when you put the ball of your foot to the floor, your feet might spread a little bit. So your toes might spread to the floor. Are you putting the weight onto your feet nice and evenly? If you've got slightly flat feet, you might find that the inside edge of your foot is more in contact with the floor than the outside edge. So maybe try and bring the weight onto the outside edge and just continue to walk around the room. So the root chakra is also known as your first chakra, and it's also called Maladra. Maladra. Maladhara. That's it. Not very good with my Sanskrit words. So bring yourself onto your mat now, and a really good opening position to start with is my usual mountain pose. And this is a really good way of rooting your feet to the floor. So I do like to say or suggest put your feet fist width apart, just to start. So it means that your legs are nice and straight. If you've got really nice, big, solid rugby playing thighs, you might want to take your feet just a little bit further apart. Entirely up to you. So I want you to be mindful about how your body sets as you come into mountain pose. So think about squeezing your bottom muscles, and I always know that my legs open round slightly. It opens my hips. But then my feet move outwards, so I'm slightly on the edge of my feet. So now I'm going to ground my feet to the floor, share the weight, keep my bottom still squeezed. Feel like my thighs have gone nice and tight, my calves are engaged, my knees are involved. And then I'm going to engage my tummy, bringing my belly button, I was going to say bringing it away from my trousers, but I've got really high trousers on today, it's never going to reach. And then think about the ribs. So you don't want to raise and push the chest forward, you want the ribs to be nice and engaged, so this bit stays nice and contracted. And then if you think about where your hands are, if you look now at where your hands are, and I'm not changing my hand position, my hands do sit to the side, but for a long time with my bad shoulders, my hands actually sat like that. So just think about where your hands are sitting. You really should have your palms to your sides. And what that does is helps to open up your shoulder a little bit more, to exaggerate the move and come into mountain pose than you would have your palms out facing forward. I know I might waste a little bit of time setting you up in mountain pose. Neck back, pull the length. And when you pull the length through, you also feel this bit engaged a little bit more as well. But this is your grounding posture. If you can use this posture around the house, around life, standing at the station, waiting for your train, if you get trains these days. standing doing the washing up, brushing your teeth. This really helps strengthen your core muscles and strengthen all the way around the side. So your core muscles, in my opinion, and there's lots of different wording on this, I believe that your core muscles kind of start here, come into your neck, you've still got core. Everything that keeps everything that attaches to your appendages, so everything that helps keep your legs in place, your arms in place, so your shoulder girdle is part of the core, the back muscles are part of the core, all these muscles here, all the ones around the back, they're all part of the core. So it's really important to get nice and strong. And this is a really good posture for activating your root chakra, and that's this area here. So stand nice and tall, close your eyes, just take a few breaths. Breathe nice and gently. And all the moves we're going to do today are all based around opening your root chakra and strengthening your root chakra. So the first thing we're going to do after opening your eyes is come into a forward bend. We're going to inhale, take the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, just slowly swan dive your hands down towards the floor. Just come to where works for you. You might be on the thighs, or you might have your feet coming, your hands coming closer down to your ankles. Don't push it, it's the first move of the day. Relax your neck. Make sure your thighs are nicely engaged. If your hamstrings are too tight, then don't forget you can always come out of the posture and release your knees. So as you breathe, you're aware of your body getting a little bit closer down towards the floor. And just listen to your body. If you feel tension or tightness, don't stay there. Maybe take the tension out of your legs a little bit. Or breathe the tension away. Take your breath into that part of your body. Just trying to release it a little bit. Just take a few more breaths. And then we're going to inhale. Bring your hands back up to the sky. Bring your hands together. Bring them down to your heart center. And then I want you to release. So, most people get some kind of tension when they're doing that move. I want you to think about where you got your tension. If you didn't take notice of your tension, then maybe go back into the posture, come back out, and find where you've got the tension. And I want you to find more specifically, if you say, oh, it's in the calf, it could be that it's on the outside of the calf, or it could be on the inside of the calf, it could be right in the knee, or it could be right down the tendon of your Achilles tendon. So be aware of where you feel your tension. So if you've found where your tension is, this is where we're going to come into working with the ball. So bring yourself down to the floor, and I'm obviously not aware of who has got tension. Well, I am. I know people have got tension in the calves and the hamstrings. So what we're going to try to do is do a little bit of both. So I'm going to start off by showing you the calf. So I know that on my calf, I'm a little bit tight on the outside, just on this big fleshy bit, but on the right leg. So I'm going to put my ball under the right leg. Just trying to work, just make sure you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, I've got my ball under there. I'm just going to lean back. So come along, join me if you want to. You can just try it out on the calf. You don't have to do the bit that's really tense. And I'm just resting my leg on the calf. So my foot is off the floor, and you can just flex and extend the foot if you want to. Just gets a little bit of movement. If you're not feeling too much, you could add the weight of the other leg onto it, and that will increase the intensity. But then you can't necessarily do the next bit. So just take that leg off to the side, and what I want you to think about doing is keep your leg stationary, but turn your foot in and out. And you might find something going on underneath the ball. If it's too uncomfortable, try and take the tension off. And just rolling from side to side. Okay. Now, an even better way of doing it is to actually roll the leg over the ball. So if you're rolling the leg over the ball and you get, I can only describe it as a clunk. It's like the muscle is moving from one place to the next. It's got a bit stuck and it kind of goes donk and comes back the other way, donk. So what you're looking for, if your calf is tight, you're looking for that little donk. Now I've got a tiny little donk in this. You might not, it's not really perceptible as I move from side to side. Some other parts of my body, it goes clump, you can really see it, especially my thighs. My thighs are very tight. But this isn't to say that that's a problem, because I've got a slight tenderness. It's not too bad. Be aware of how it feels as well. If it's kind of score it. So I'm probably scoring a 1 on this. It's not really painful. I can just feel a little clump. If I did it on my thighs, it'd probably be a 10. So just rolling it from side to side, and I wouldn't do it for more than about 30 seconds on one area. If you've had enough of that one, you could move it down the calf or up the calf and see whether you can find anything more. So I'm just moving it. So that, I found another little knot, and that's probably a 2 rather than a 1. It's closer to the inside, or the outside of my knee. And I'm just rolling it from side to side. Again, you can just leave the leg on top. You could add the weight on it, but I actually find that by doing that little move from side to side, that helps kind of free the muscle up. Hopefully there's nobody howling in pain out there. So that's basically how you do it. And then you have to consider which muscles you've got. So we're just going to move on to the hamstrings, because I know that a lot of people can be tight on the hamstrings. So let me just turn the other way. The hamstring's quite fleshy here. And if you put the ball underneath it, you kind of sink into it. So the ball's almost completely disappeared. But again, you could twist from side to side and you might find something. For me, there's nothing in there, but if I move it right up underneath my bottom cheek, literally there, and then it's difficult to get a roll. You've just got to get it in the right place. So for me, that ball is too small. So now I've got a slightly bigger ball. I've got all more columns here. I'm putting the bigger ball over. So now, look, if I put that one under, the little one under, get my leg right to the floor. If I put this one under, I can't get the leg to the floor. So it's bent, and I'm going to now take my weight onto my hands. My bottom's not on the floor, and I'm rolling from side to side. I feel something right on the outside, but again, it's only a small one, only a 2, but you might be different. You might have something completely different. And then my hamstrings aren't that tight. The front of my thighs are really tight. So I wanted to show you the different things that you can do, and every muscle on your body you could do that with. So I had somebody who had a really tight neck. A lot of people get that knot right in the corner of their neck there. So you could take the ball, removing the straps, just put the ball there, and then just push the ball in. So I don't have much tension to feel it with my finger, but pushing the ball in, I can feel that's quite tight. And then you can just take the neck away, just gently, don't do it too strong. And that, again, is a good one. And you can do it for all sorts of things. Some things are going to be harder than others. And I just wanted to show you those following your forward bend. So now, if you've done it on one leg, we're going to try and do the forward bend again and see whether you feel any improvement out of your forward bend. So come on up. Get yourself in mountain pose again. Get your posture nice and strong. Inhale, take your arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, swan dive down. We've only done one leg, so you might find that one leg feels much nicer than the other leg. You might not. You might find you get your hands a little bit closer towards the ground. And then inhale, bring your hands up to the sky. Exhale. So if you're going to do that for yourself, self-massage, 30 seconds per muscle knot. So you could do 1, 2, 3, 4 on one leg. So that's 2 minutes gone already. Same on the other leg. Or you might just find you've got one really knotty place there. And again, all the way up the back of the thigh, you can do it. You can do it at the front of the thigh. Be warned, Lisa, painful. Also, you can do it on the inside of the thigh, but that's a little bit harder. That's where I would use the bigger ball. I'd lay on the floor and put the leg on the outside. I will show you if you want me to. So if you want me to do something like that, I can always do it at the end, maybe after we've finished, and carry on for a little bit. Okay, so the next move we're going to do is another root chakra move. It's called garland. So it's a semi-squat. It's not a full squat to the floor, which is malasana. So bring your feet out slightly wider than your, I'd say about 2 feet. 2 feet, 2 feet. Inhale, come into mountain pose. We're just going to exhale, bend the knees, coming on down. Again, be mindful of what you feel in your body. Everybody's body is different in every position. So this position is nice for me. I quite enjoy this, but I'm just starting to feel a tightness on the back of my hamstring. And as I've touched that, it feels quite tender. So what I could do, and when I do my own practice, I might get the ball out and roll it underneath my hamstring, my Achilles tendon. So now we're going to inhale, lift the arms up and straighten up. If you feel that your postures are not quite right, you can always step the feet out a bit wider. And exhale, come down. So bend the arms into cactus arms, bring the legs out. We're not aiming to get the bottom right to the floor, but just come to where's comfortable for you. And inhale up. And exhale down. My fan's just come on my computer, sorry. Also taking this session. Inhale up. And exhale down, shoulders down, bring the arms and elbows in line. Nice idea to check out the arms, see if they're looking nice and straight. Just to say I'm not superhuman. This arm is nice and straight, and this one's tipped forwards ever so slightly, probably about ½ an inch. But it is true because I do feel tightness in that shoulder. So inhale up and exhale down. And just take a drink. So next move we're going to do is Janushisasana. So that with a mouthful. Sitting on the floor, one leg out straight, bend the other leg up. Take the leg out to the side. So this is another forward bend. And you will find that potentially with the leg out to the side, the forward bend may be different for you. So as you inhale, sit nice and tall, engage your core, squeeze your bottom muscles. And as you exhale, lean forward, coming down towards the foot. And again, really important to pay attention to what you feel. Everybody's different. So I'm not stretching too far, and I actually feel it right above my hip. Right on the outside here. And I'm also feeling it, and this one's for Lisa. Sorry to keep mentioning your name. I'm feeling it right in my knee, just there. So that's got something to do with the inside of my thigh. And again, I could roll it. And I'll show you how to do that after we finish the posing. So flex your front foot up. Really get the foot nice and flexed. And use your breath to increase your stretch. Don't force it. Just inhale, and as you exhale, you might find the length of the exhale allows you closer down to your knee. And then we're going to inhale, bring ourselves up. Let's swap over and do the other leg first. So straighten that leg out. Inhale, lift the other leg. Exhale, take it out to the side. Inhale, sit nice and tall. Exhale, come on down. And I've just noticed that my foot was laying to the side. Really position the foot so it's nice and upright. And in this position, Again, I can feel that right in the inside of the knee. So I'm just making you mindful that different positions can affect different people differently. You might have it in the hip, you might have it in the glute. Completely different. So if you want to, just lengthen the arms out, give the shoulders a nice little stretch. Relax the head down. And then inhale, pulling yourself back up. Bring the knee in, just give your knees a nice little hug. So if you were feeling it inside the knees, and even if you weren't, you can do a rolling ball technique on the knees. So if you were to take your tennis ball, you want to lay onto your side. So the knee that's the one that's most uncomfortable is the one that should be bent and up to the sky. You're going to come over onto your side and put the ball underneath the knee. So I'm just going to lay on the floor and I'm just moving that ball. I'm moving my knee over the ball. So I'm pushing the leg down. You can see the ball appear and then I'm pushing it back up. And I can feel a clump of discomfort in that muscle. So just do it for 30 seconds. I'm going to make you all warm. I've done the half on the other leg. Another way that you could do this is to actually turn the leg up to the sky and down. I tend to find the tennis ball isn't as good on this move. I prefer my little baby basketball. And I put the knee on there. And my leg is nice and level now, whereas it was down to the floor, pushing my hip out. So now, just doing it like that. This is a little bit softer. It's not quite so intense as the tennis ball, but if you've got the tennis ball, you might be feeling a little bit more. So remember, just for 30 seconds, you can roll it around. Just any movement that works. You really kind of want to go. The best movement, as far as I'm concerned, is because the muscles run this way. I think that the movement of the ball should go that way. And that seems to work for me. It seems to help release. Okie doke, enough of my ramblings. So we are going to do a wide-legged forward bend, a seated wide-legged forward bend. So you're going to ground your root chakra to the floor. So take the legs out. And often in this particular stretch, you'll get the discomfort or the tightness through here. Some people get it in their calves, but yeah, it tends to be here. Sometimes it's underneath to start with, and then it comes round to the side. So just be aware of your own abilities. So inhale up, and as you exhale, come on forward. So I'm not a traditional yogi. I find this position quite hard and I feel it extremely tight in my inner thighs. But if I use my breathing, I can slowly lower myself down. So I am going to take myself and we're going to take about 2 minutes in this pose, and it will take me 2 minutes to get my nose to the floor. And at the moment, look how far away I am, and my inner thighs are quite tight. So I'm going to inhale and lengthen my spine, and I feel it pulling through my thighs. And as I exhale, I'm going to loosen my posture and allow my head to come down. I'm not overstretching, this is not uncomfortable, but I can really feel it in my thighs. So I'm just breathing in and thinking about my thighs, trying to get my thighs to loosen off. I was aware my bottom was really tight. So my bottom is now relaxed and my thighs have relaxed. So I'm coming down again. I've now got my elbows to the floor. Still a way off, my nose is at least a foot from the floor. Inhaling and exhaling, making sure we relax my muscles. Just moving from side to side and slowly coming down. And where my left foot is slightly turned in, so I'm just pulling my knees back up.
And then coming down again. Nearly there, I've got around 2 inches to go. And my nose, I've got it to the floor.
Inhale, bring yourself back up. So I just wanted to show you that it is possible if you use your breath, if you understand what's tight, trying to relax everything as you go, you can improve your position. So bring your legs together. We're going to turn over and come into child's pose because that's quite a big stretch on the back. So just come on into tabletop. Open the legs nice and wide, bring your toes together. And as you exhale, come in to child's pose. Just relax your head to the floor. See if you can push your chest down a little bit. Easier with your legs wider. And even in a posture like child's pose, you might be able to feel tension somewhere. You might feel your back feels tight, or if you've got your knees really bent, you might feel tightness in the knees. Everybody's different. We're all unique, and that's what I love about you all. And then we're going to inhale, come back up. We're going to do cat and cow. So come on all fours. If you've got discomfort in your knees, leaning on your hard floor, then just put some cushions under your knees if you can. So we're starting off with cow. We're going to inhale, push the chest forward, push the bottom backwards. Allow your neck to be nice and in line with your spine. As you exhale, push your navel up to your spine. Really squeeze the navel up. Make the navel do all the work. Feel like your back's opening up. Inhale, coming into cow. Push the chest forward, open the chest. And think about your root chakra as you're doing this, pushing your root chakra, your back, your bottom away from you. And one more time, coming into cat. So engage your core muscles, push your back up to the sky. And really think about trying to reach the ceiling with your back even. And then just release your back into neutral. I forgot what we're doing next. So we're going to do warrior two next. Another good grounding posture for your feet. So come on up, stand towards the narrow end of your mat, coming into mountain pose. Ooh, tummy's rumbling. Don't know if you could hear that. I'm going to inhale. Exhale, take your left foot back, coming into warrior two. So front knee should be bent and over your ankle. And often when people turn their hips, I'll show you from the front. Often when people turn their hips, the knee comes in. You want to keep that knee as much over the ankle as you can. You should be able to see the big toe on the inside of the leg. And then you're going to inhale, lift the arms up. Just check your arms out, front and back. Make sure they're nice and in line, shoulders back and down. And pick your drishti point, your focus point, your middle finger with your front hand. Just keep yourself in this position. Think about your feet on the floor. You really want the feet to be grounded, and that's what helps this be a root chakra posture, because you're grounding your feet into the floor. And also, a very important part of root chakra is your perineum, and that's your pelvic floor. So it's all the muscles that are in underneath and between your legs. So if you push your feet into the floor and try and engage these muscles here, look at the difference that happens in this posture. And then we're just going to exhale, lower the hands down. And we're going to do the other legs. So you just step forward. I'm changing to the side so I can look at the camera. Inhale, exhale, step back with your right leg. Bend the front leg. And again, think about opening your hips. Make sure your knee doesn't come round. Lift your arms nice and left. And just look along your front hand, shoulders back and down. Look along your middle finger, your drishti point, your focus point. Concentrate so much on that finger. Helps you keep your posture up. Think about your feet. You can really push your feet into the floor, squeeze your pelvic floor muscles, and feel how different that makes you feel. And as soon as I squeeze my pelvic floor muscles, I feel a tightness right in the tight of my inside of my thigh, which I don't feel when I don't do that. So that's quite interesting. I've learned something new about myself today. We're going to exhale, lower the hands down, and inhale, step forward. So balancing is a really good really good postures for your root chakra. So we're going to do tree posture. So stand up in mountain pose, get yourself nice and engaged, squeeze your bottom cheeks, get yourself nice and set up. Transfer the weight onto your left leg and then open your right leg. So you can either balance the toe on the floor, bring your foot to the calf. If you're one of these people that's halfway between, you can do this really well, but you can't get your leg up there. What you could do is a figure of four and cross the knee over the top of your knee, cross the foot over the top of your knee, sorry. You don't want it on the knee because that helps push it through. It's got to be above. And just bring your hands to your heart center. You can try and balance a little bit. So from your back inhaling, take hands up to the sky. You don't have to. I just like to try and make it a bit more complicated. Lift those out. And foot slipping into it. Come out. Fingers spread nice and wide. And then bring your hands back to the center. Exhale, lower your hands to the heart center. Just take one more inhale. And exhale, release the leg. And release the hands. And we have to swap over to the other side. Transfer the weight onto your right leg and open your left hip. Lift the leg to wherever works for you. I haven't worked out how to do this without using the hand yet. Bring the hands to your heart center. Think about a drishti point, something in front of you. Hopefully it's not me on the screen. Especially not that 15-inch screen somebody mentioned that they're watching on earlier. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. And just bring the arms out nice and wide. Shoulders back and down. And think about your foot, your root chakra, rounding the foot nicely to the floor. Don't squeeze the toes in. Make sure your weight's shared evenly between the three strength points of your foot. Your heel, the ball of your big toe, and the ball of your little toe. Shoulders back and down. Bring your hands back to your heart center. Bring your hands down. And as you exhale, lower your hands and lower your foot. Lovely. So that's the first balance we've done. We're going to do one more balance. So we're going to do eagle. So eagles have got varying degrees of difficulty, and you can do it with or without the arms. So we'll start off, set the legs up, and then we'll come in and set the arms up if you want to. You don't have to. So come into a nice tall posture. We're going to transfer the weight onto the left leg, and we're going to wrap the right leg around the leg. So you can have it so that the inside of the foot is just resting against your calf. That's the easy posture. I know a few of you like to be a little bit more difficult, so what you can do is wrap the toes, kept it just round the back of the foot, the calf. So you're using the toes to anchor, but what's happened is the leg is twisted right round, because normally you'd be there. The legs covering. So now we're going to take the arms out nice and wide. If you want to, take your right arm underneath your left arm, bend the arms up, and see if you can grab the parts. So we're in a bit of a squeeze. You can't get the hands round like that. It doesn't matter if your hands are any degree. I know, for example, my husband's got really big shoulders, and his body is wider than his arms are. So actually, he can just about get his arms to about here, and then he can't do anything more with it. So it's just body postures again. Think about your focus point and be aware of where you feel the tension in this position. Mine's in my knees, underneath my knee. We're going to release the arms, bring them out, release the leg, and exhale. So yeah, interestingly, I feel it under there. Whereas when I do cross-legged, I feel it up there. Work in progress, that's what I call it. So transfer the weight onto your right leg now. We're going to do eagle on the other side. So inhale, lift the leg up, cross it over to the other side. And if you want, you can wrap it around the back. So you should be able to see my toes up here. Just to realise I've got my fan out behind me. Inhale, lift the arms. This time the left arm goes under the right arm. Bring it up. Yeah, I reckon the weather changing is all my fault because I got my fan down on Sunday. Because I was hot. And now I'm not hot anymore. It might be. A little bit of yoga. Too busy chatting. We'll just take a few more breaths. And then release the hands. And release the leg. Just give your legs a little bit of a kick. Take some water if you want. So another posture that's really good for your root chakra is downward dog. So we're going to come straight into downward dog. So come into tabletop, onto your knees, and bring your palms down to the floor. So we're going to try and set you up with a good downward dog. So listen to my instructions. Your middle finger should be pointing forward. Your elbows should be facing sideways. And your fingers should be spread nice and wide, and your palms and your fingers are pushing into the floor. You're going to tuck your toes under, and you're pushing your bottom back towards the sky. So at the moment, mine's quite a relaxed downward dog. I want you to think about engaging your core. So squeeze your tummy muscles in, bend your knees slightly. So you probably... Worst place people feel this is in the calf and the hamstrings, and if your shoulders are weak, you might find it in your shoulders and sometimes palms. So now, think about pushing your bottom up to the sky. So you're really pushing high, and you'll find that your shoulders open up so that your arms and your torso are in line with each other. Then ultimately, we're aiming to try and get the heels down towards the floor. But if your hamstrings are too tight, then keep the knees bent. If they're good, you can straighten the legs, keeping the bottom pushed towards the sky. And just keep yourself in your downward dog. Keep breathing. Really keep thinking about all those things to do. Push your hands into the floor. Push your bottom up to the sky. Engage your core. Bend the knees if your hamstrings are too tight. And if you want to, try to push your heels down to the floor a little bit more. And be aware, again, of which muscles are causing you the discomfort. So those are the muscles that you could probably take some work to with the tennis ball or the ball that you've got. So just take a breath, inhale and exhale. And then we're going to come down. So as you exhale, slowly bring your knees down to the floor. Just bring yourself into child's pose, give your back a nice little stretch. And then bring yourself out of child's pose. So I've got a new little flow for you today. If you struggle with this position, you may find that you may not be able to do all of this flow properly, but this flow will show you again weaknesses or tightness within your body. So what we're going to do, we're going to come to standing. So bring yourself up. I'm going to do it facing sideways so you can see the movements that I'm doing. But obviously I'm going to talk you through it as well. So stand into mountain pose, engage your core, squeeze your bottom, adjust your clothing and cooling. Inhale, take your arms up to the sky. Oh, hang on, I've got this wrong already. Your feet shouldn't be fist width apart. You want your feet to be a little bit wider than your body. It'll all become apparent in a minute. So engage the core again. Inhale, arms up to the sky. We're going to exhale, swan dive the hands down towards the floor. Coming into your forward bend, be aware of how flexible or not you feel. So from here, I want you to bend your knees. You can then maybe put your hands to the floor. You might have to adjust your feet out a little bit, because what you're going to try to do is bring your bottom as close to the floor as you can. So this is Malasana. This is deep squat. So think about your feet. If you feel like you're rolling forward, then you can always use your arms to pull you up a little bit. Georgia knows this one's a really good one to do in gardening. So you can actually do this posture while you're trying to do wheelie. Might not do it for long, and even if you last 20 seconds, it's still pretty good. So we are going to make it a little bit more complicated now. So what I want you to think about doing is come forward onto the balls of your feet, and now you're transferring your weight forward. So my knees are more level. Now you're going to take your knees down to the floor. So look what happens. I'm adjusting my body to take my knees down. You might find the knees go down quite fast. It's the first time you've done it, it will get better. You might also find that you put one knee down after the other. So now you're going to release your toes, lay your feet flat, sit back over your heels if you can. If you're high, it doesn't matter. You're just going to open your arms up. So bring your arms up in front of you, palms together, and look up towards your hands. If you are down on the floor, it's the same movement. You might find your knees come off the floor just a little bit. Bring your hands back to your heart center. And now we're going to stand back up. We're going to come back up onto our knees. So come back up, tuck your toes, and now we're going back in reverse. So your toes are tucked under, and you're lifting your knees back into your squat position, coming into squat. So we're now doing it all in reverse. We're going to put the hands to the floor, push the bottom to the sky. Just take a few breaths. Be aware of the tension through your body. If your hamstrings are tight, don't worry, you can always bend the knees. And then we're going to inhale, bring the hands up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center and down. So that was our little flow, and we're going to try it a couple more times. And be aware of where you struggle. So I had a lady that was doing it at the weekend. I tried this out on her. And when she came from this position, she couldn't come back because she had stiffness in her toe joint. So she could not rock back because her toe was so tight. But it doesn't matter, because you can come up one knee at a time. Just making you aware of the different things that might happen. So let's bring ourselves wide-legged mountain pose. So feet are over about 1.5 feet apart. Inhale, lift the arms to the sky, shoulders down. Exhale, swan dive your hands down to the floor. We're going to inhale, come into our Malasana, low level squat. And then we're going to transfer our weight forward, come onto the heels, onto the balls of the feet, sorry, and then transfer the knees down. Release the toes to the floor. And as you exhale, lean backwards, using the strength of our core. Inhale, bring your hands back. Come on up. Tuck the toes under. Come back. And then come into your squat. Finding my knees are a little bit close together there, sorry. Widen the knees, bring the arms in to open the knees up. And you might find you can't get your heels to the floor. My heels aren't to the floor, isn't it? But then I need to rock myself back. We're going to exhale, push the hands to the floor, come into a forward bend. Then inhale, bring the hands up to the sky. exhale, bring your hands down. Lovely. We're going to do that one more time, so hopefully you find that you're becoming more aware of the postures and you're finding it slightly easier to do. So a nice wide posture with the legs. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive the hands down to the floor.
I nearly said inhale, half lift there. That's not what we want to do. We want to exhale. We want to inhale, take the bottom down to the floor, bring the hands into Malasana. Nice wide knees. And then we're going to come up onto the balls of the feet. Slowly take the knees down in front of you. Release the toes and come on up. Bring the hands down as you exhale. Inhale, come up. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, come back. Inhale, come into your squat. Exhale, hands to the floor, come into a forward bend. And then inhale, bring your hands up to the sky. And exhale. Well done. That's 3 rounds of the new little flow. Hope you enjoyed that. Quite tough on the thighs and on the ankles and the calves. So hopefully you're okay with that. So it is Shavasana time. So bring yourself to the floor. If you've got a towel or a lavender bag that you can put over your eyes, then please do that to block the light out of your eyes. And just get yourself nice and comfortable. Remember, you bend your knees if you want to, if your back feels tight. So just get yourself comfortable and be aware of your breathing. And while you're laying in Shavasana, I'm going to ramble on about the root chakra. The whole point of our session today. So the root chakra is your first chakra. There are 7 chakras, starting at the first chakra in the base of your pelvis. Your 7th chakra is the crown, on the crown. So the root chakra being the first chakra, its energy is based on the earth element. It's associated with a feeling of safety and grounding. It's at the base of the chakra system and lays the foundation for expansion in your life. The root chakra is located at the base of your spine, and the corresponding body parts are your pelvic floor, the perineum, and the first 3 vertebrae on the floor. So that's pretty much your coccyx, right at the bottom of the pelvis. This chakra is often represented as a cone of energy starting at the base of the spine and going downward and then slightly bending up. It's associated with the following functions or behavioural characteristics: security and safety, survival, basic needs, food, sleep, shelter, self-preservation, physicality, your physical identity and aspects of yourself, grounding and support and foundation for living our lives. The root chakra provides the foundation on which we build our life. It supports us in growing and feeling safe into exploring all the aspects of life. It is related to our feeling of safety and security, whether it's physical or regarding our bodily needs, or metaphorical regarding housing and financial safety. To sum it up, the first chakra questions are around the idea of survival and safety. The root chakra is where we ground ourselves into the earth and anchor our energy into the manifest world. So what happens when this chakra is imbalanced? At an emotional level, the deficiencies or imbalance in the first chakra are related to excessive negativity, cynicism, eating disorders, greed, illusion or excessive feeling of insecurity, as if you're living in survival mode. And for a person who has an imbalance in the first chakra, it might be hard to feel safe in the world and everything looks like a potential risk. The desire for security dominates and can translate into concerns over a job situation, physical safety, shelter, or health. And if your root chakra is blocked, it may turn into behaviours ruled mainly by fear. There are many ways to open up your root chakra. You can engage more in grounding and earth-related activities. For example, connection with nature, gardening, healthy eating and cooking, or hiking. The main idea is to work at grounding your roots in a safe and comfortable environment. So surrounding yourself with earth colours, objects reminding you of nature, stability, or on the contrary, if you wish to feel less stuck, you do the opposite. And yoga for the root chakra can be a more physical way to bridge the body and mind and restore a more balanced energy flow. The first chakra is known as the root chakra, Adhara, or Muladhara. Its Sanskrit name, Muladhara, can signify base, foundation, or root support. The typical colour used to represent the root chakra is a rich vermilion red. This colour is also used on the symbol to fill its petals. Traditionally, it is also associated with the colour yellow or gold. This is the colour of its element as opposed to its petals. And in the spectrum of chakra colours, red symbolises strength, vitality, and stimulates our instinctual tendencies. I mentioned the symbol of the root chakra earlier, and it's composed of a 4-petaled lotus flower, often stylised as a circle with 4 petals, with a downward pointing triangle. The downward pointing triangle is a symbol of spirit connecting with matter, grounding on the earth and our earthly existence in our bodies. It's seen as the centre of our vital life force and is the seat where Kundalini stays coiled and dormant until it wakes up to distribute its energy through all other chakras. And that's a whole nother story completely. The root chakra is home to your primal energy, located at the base of your spine. It is associated with your most basic survival needs. It governs your bladder, your kidneys, your lower extremities, and your spine. And when there is an imbalance, you may experience physical symptoms that include constipation, weight issues, fatigue, and back pain. Emotionally speaking, when the first chakra is in need of healing, you may find you're short-tempered and unusually aggressive. Other signs you need to open up the root chakra are insecurity, poor decision-making, anxiety, and detachment. Symbolised by the colour red, the root chakra fosters confidence and security when it is opened and balanced. However, when it's in need of healing, there are several simple exercises and steps you can take to restore balance. And we've done quite a bit of those in our session today. So standing is a really good one, coming into mountain pose. When you're feeling less than grounded, stand with your feet either fist width or shoulder width apart and let your upper body relax. Let your arms rest comfortably at your side and allow your hips to rest slightly forward. Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, feel your connection to the earth deepen. Taking a shower can help cleanse and balance the root chakra. Be aware of your physical body as you bathe. Be mindfully aware. It's a tremendous tool for healing the first chakra. Everyday physical movement, from running to completing the chores around the house, are a great way to heal your root chakra. It's all about moving. The key is to be aware of your body and feel the sensation of movement. And awareness is key and crucial to healing. So as we did at the very beginning of the session, we did a little bit of mindful walking. So whether you're out in nature or down a crowded city street, be aware of every step you take. Concentrate on your breath and your footfall, every step. Take note of the sensation you feel each time your foot touches the ground. Mindfulness of something as mundane as walking can activate your root chakra and ground you to the earth. Wearing the colour red and incorporating it into your decor at home or your workspace is a reminder to be aware of the primal core energy of your root chakra. You can even take this one step further by visualising or meditating on the colour red. So let's try that now. So I'd like you to try to visualise a radiant red ball of energy right at the base of your spine. And as you visualise it, and be mindful, you see it brighten and radiate downward as it illuminates your lower extremities and grounds you. You might feel that this red ball starts to grow bigger as you activate the energy within you. Sometimes it's hard to visualise. If that didn't work for you, it's something that practice might make perfect. Dancing is also a great way to open up your root chakra. Whether you dance in public or behind closed doors, the key is to let the rhythm guide you, allowing the body to be free to move uninhibited, will dispel negativity and open and balance the chakra. Stretching and breathing are also key for this root chakra. Adopting a regular yoga routine is another great tool to open up, heal and balance your root chakra. Introducing the moves that we've done today. Standing, garland, the head to knee pose that we did with the legs bent out to the side, Janu Shirshasana. Reclined butterfly pose, which is Baddha Konasana, laying on the floor. A wide-legged forward bend, warrior two, tree, eagle, downward dog, and even the little flow that we did. They're all positions that stretch your legs, your back, your spine, giving you a stronger foundation, helping to ground you and activate your root chakra. So I hope I didn't send you to sleep and that you were interested in the root chakra. There's lots of fascinating aspects to yoga, and finding out a little bit more about the spiritual side can help you progress your yoga. So now it's time to bring ourselves back to the real world. So just bring some life back into your arms, your hands, your feet, your legs. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly bring ourselves up to a seated position. So sit nice and tall. Engage through your abdomen, length and spine, open the chest, and bring your hands to your bottom. Just be aware of the breath. The energy from your root chakra, from the practice today. Feel yourself grounded to the floor. Just take 2 more breaths for me. And take praise for your attendance and all your efforts for the class. Om Shanti. Namaste.